Well, it ain't registered yet.
Check.
Wow.
Let me go back. We'll see. It's the boss. It's our meeting. Would be sad.
How are you? I usually have everybody come back.
Waiting on you, boss.
These resignations, we don't do anything, just acknowledge what's happening.
Yep. It's a board member, you have to accept it.
But those we don't have to. Okay.
Fly right through.
So long, farewell. Okay, anything else?
Sent you a text earlier.
Yeah,
You just let me know.
we were supposed to have one interview last night, she never showed up.
Strike that.
So, yeah, I might, have you go ahead and set up, so.
Okay.
Did you know the lady from Morton?
No, I could, that's weird.
I would think they want to drive from Morton.
We'll take it. I mean, is Laura coming?
No, she is. The sixth thing.
Is she? Coomer, Sloan, Southwood, Williams. So we have a quorum. I feel better.
Trying, I like to complain about that state workplace. I'm not.
Oh, Harley, my Supreme Court rules are flying all over. You don't want them, believe me.
No, I don't.
You come in at the last minute.
Ready?
What is it? 5, 7.
I got some M&Ms right now.
What time was it? 9? 10 a.m.
Good evening, I'll call this meeting of the Fulton County Board to order. Would you, let's see, roll call.
Barkley.
Present.
Beck.
Present.
Barry.
Present.
Heller.
Present.
Kessel. Coomer.
Here.
Murphy.
Here.
Black. Sloan.
Present.
Southwood.
Present.
Spangler. Here. Thompson.
Here.
Widger.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Quorum present.
All right, would you join me in the pledge to our flag? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Member Beck, would you lead us in prayer?
As we gather here this evening to do the business of the county and work together to make the county better, and bless all those who are out in the military world and with all our trauma that we have, and that we have peace in our future. We do this prayer in our Lord's name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. All right, you have the minutes from the August 8th meeting in your packets. Do I have a motion to approve those? Moved by Beck. Is there a second? Second by Thompson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Any changes to the agenda?
I need to pull from consent, the 2 appointments to London Mills Fire District.
We're gonna say
CB and
Aren't they in
CC.
consent?
Yes, they're consent.
Yes. Pull to action, sorry.
Oh, you're pulling them to action?
Well, they need corrected.
Let's take them out.
They need corrected, so.
where's that? I don't even see it.
C appointments, B and C.
If they didn't correct them, then don't even vote on them. Send them back to their respective body.
It's our fault.
Huh.
We had an error on the resolution.
We just need to clarify the error. And
Can't we just clarify the errors? and
Yes.
Send them through in
You can,
consent?
you can say there's a Scrivener error and it can be corrected.
Okay, good, let's do that.
Okay.
okay,
So you're not pulling them.
That would be
do we need to
better.
do that now? That clarification, or
Yes, I would clarify those.
Okay, bond amount is set within the resolution of 5,000, should have been 1,000.
Okay,
everybody get that?
that'll be noted in the minutes.
Okay. Anything else? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Moved by Murphy, for a second. Second by Southwood. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Okay, announcements, communication, correspondence. Let's see, in your packet, there's the 9th judicial legal holidays for 2023. Take a look at. Then next we have an update from Cole, or hometown consultant.
Good evening, everybody. Good to see ya. Wanted to be here this evening to give you some updates. Hopefully, I'll be back next month with some better updates and some money in the Fulton County bank account as far as it relates to the energy transition grants. Still working through that, so I'll ask Treasurer Mail after this if she's heard any correspondence or anybody of our other elected officials. I assume they haven't. So I've reached back out to the DCEO. Getting an email back has been rather difficult as it relates to that grant, but we finally got some clarification. It's been approved. We're just waiting on the award. So that's the $924,554 grant from the power plant closing and what we applied for here several months ago. Just wanted to recap on that a little bit. When that money does come in, the hope is to come back to you with kind of what was approved, what that funding was approved for, and that includes some money going back to the taxing districts that were involved as part of that application that were on those parcels out there. So Buckhart Township, Buckhart Fire Protection District, Copper's Creek, there's 7 or 8 others that are involved with that as well. So a breakdown of those distributions, there were some county infrastructure dollars or public facilities dollars that were included in there, and there were some new business development, tourism type grants built into that too for some new projects. So any questions on that? I don't. That's the update I have for you until they come through and say, here's your deposit, and then we can take those next steps. I was happy to hear that some of the other organizations did get some clarification back too. So Fulton County EMA, I believe they received right around $92,000. They're going to be able to use that for another ground ambulance. So that there were some other organizations that benefited from that as well. That we talked about the college and the school district did receive $1.2 million. Kansas School District as part of that as well. Kind of move on from that one and touch on, there is a project I will be emailing you. I don't know that everybody uses their Fulton County email. When we do touch base, if you use something else, I'll ask you about that. But within the next couple of weeks here, I will send you an email tomorrow and a call Friday if I don't hear back, but trying to get things scheduled here over the next 2 weeks to come and meet with board members, whether that be 2 at a time or individually, to talk about a project, a pretty significant tourism project. It's about a $4 million project that's being proposed just north of Canton, and I'll share some more details and some overviews and financials and things like that from the developer. But want to be able to sit down and talk through that. There are some needs they have as far as having kind of a planned development. They're used to working in some much bigger communities they're excited to work in Fulton County as it's much easier to do business here than it maybe is in Peoria County or Cook County or some of these other places where everything's red tape and everything's a real pain. So their biggest concern was we want to make sure we have a plan development that we know once we get permits that everything's laid out, which is good for all of us here too, so we know exactly what to expect and that everybody's on the same page. So I'm going to talk through that with everyone as that's getting a little closer to them actually coming and presenting and telling you a little bit about who they are and next steps on that. So looking forward to that. Got some really cool vision books and things they've put together that'll highlight what their plan is, what their plan for construction is, and what they're going to do out there. So we'll be reaching out to you. If we don't have a chance to connect in the next 2 days, I'll come find you similar. But looking forward to talking about that.
We expect them to come here next month, 2 months, 3 months?
I think probably be about 3 months as we get into the winter. They have their investors on board. The property's been under contract for a few months now, but they anticipate closing here in the next 30 days. So officially. Another thing I want to touch on, EDP renewables. That's another project that's coming. We talked a little bit about this. I shared it in my report last month, the written report of EDP renewables has not come for permitting yet, but they will actually be the first utility scale solar project to start construction in Fulton County. So their timeline is construction will start next June. So they will be coming cast for a zoning board of appeals hearing. That's correct, right? Zoning Board of Appeals followed by the vote of the full board for the special use. So they will be coming for that here in the next 3 months. They're asking some additional questions about timelines, so I'm coordinating that information from Janice and making sure we're all on the same page. But do expect that that'll be scheduled here in the next 2 or 3 months for them to come forward to the board, much like we were several months ago.
Which solar is that one?
Yeah, so EDP Renewables is building a 200 megawatt project down near the Icapa substation. So it's in the same general area that Leeward is, using the same substation and transmission lines.
It's on County 2.
Yeah, County 2. It's been interesting to see how this has kind of all played out. I think as we move forward, one of our recommendations from the consulting side of things is going to be to standardize that process a little bit. These probably aren't going to be the last 2 or 3 solar projects that get proposed in Fulton County as we move forward, but standardizing as in kind of laying out that process a little more and what that looks like, or what the county board would like to see, whether it's you get permits first and then we, it's just, there's a little confusion because Leeward got their permits, but they're still 4 years away from construction. Whereas EDP is going to be 8 months away from construction when it comes for permits. And that may not matter to us here, but diving into those things and understanding the pros and cons of that or something we're working on too, so we understand what that looks like moving forward. And then just one more thing on the other large utility scale solar project, Buckhart Solar, which you guys had a letter of partnership that you approved and submitted as part of their grant application to the federal government. So that is the $500 million grant program, and they're giving 5 awards. Those awards are for utility scale solar projects to be used on former mine land, so abandoned mine land, basically proving we can use abandoned mine land to create renewable energy. That's the whole premise behind the grant program with the Department of Energy. We feel pretty strongly that Buckhart has a really good chance of receiving this grant, and it'll probably be upwards of $100 million. There's 26 applicants left out of 120 some. Those decisions will be made here over the next 60 days. So hope I can come back and share that with you, because that even just further supports a project that's already well on its way, but further supports that and make sure they can build it at the highest level possible here in Fulton County. So any questions on that? We did end up with 14 letters of support, and that included the Fulton County Board, Canton School District, the Farm Bureau. There were several others as it related to abandoned mine land, so everybody would like to see that reused. The value of it for us today is much lower than it's a solar panel sitting on it, and there's not a lot we can reuse it for. So happy to see them applying for it and pursuing that. And then one other thing I wanted to be sure to touch on was thanks to county board members and folks with the county that have said, hey, reach out to Cole or Hometown Consulting about it. There's sometimes I wonder if maybe I'm the right person to call, but I appreciate that because that helps us filter through having those relationships. There's been security firms, other businesses that want locate here in the county. Folks that are coming back, appreciate you continuing to connect us to those folks, because then we can provide what resources we do know of, and really start encouraging them, be here in Fulton County. We can start to kind of tell that story, but there's a lot of folks that have reached out, and we've been able to provide some resources to, or connect to the right project or the right person, and that's really important behind the scenes. The more you guys can share, we're here to help, the better. As it relates to one other item, I know we talked about the rural surface transportation grant, which related to some chip and seal. It's programs that were available through the federal government as it relates to resurfacing of county roads and some big grant dollars and programs that were out there. Got to work with Keith on that, and he did a great job looking into that. What we found is by the time we started looking into it, this suggested about 2 months before that, getting your application in for review. So it's a big program, but the one thing we've identified, and the thing I'll continue to work with Keith on in the county as it relates to not just grants for roads or infrastructure, as it relates to grants in general, is you've got to have a plan in place. As that kind of came up, and there was some of that discussion on, well, here's some things we could do with it. And now that we know that, as we work through this, it's knowing that information, being able to put a plan in place behind it that next year when these programs come out, we've got a plan. We know how we're going to apply. We've got a lot of the data and details that we need to be successful. That way we're not spinning our wheels and spending 30, 40, 50 man hours on something that we know we're not going to get. Let's put a plan in place, spend that 30, 40, 50 hours now, so when that time comes, we've got a good shot at being successful. And that's what we'll continue to do. And appreciate the support from all the department heads and everybody that's been involved, because it makes this a lot easier and I think more successful too. So looking forward to getting together with county board members and talking more about the project. And happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Court.
Appreciate it.
All right, moving on. Continue here with announcements, communication correspondence. We have several resignations. We have a resignation from our campground superintendent and his assistant, John and Courtney Young. And we also have resignation from our board administrative assistant, Cindy Simpson. So we want to thank these people for their time and work that they've done here for Fulton County, and wish them the best as they move on. Next, public remarks. I have one. Darcy Taylor. Her subject is county money. Yeah, 5 minutes.
I guess to start off, I hope we're learning from our recent mistakes. Because if you don't think we need a county administrator, someone really needs to step it up. Although it was really fun watching maybe some people squirm and backtrack on the campground thing that they, didn't have all the facts, didn't quite understand. I was at that meeting. I understood all those facts. And this lady here tried to explain it to you guys. No one wanted to hear it, interrupting her, and then voted for it. So that was fun. About the county administrator, you said we can't afford it. Well, crap, we can't afford limit to. There's $1 million burning a hole in the pockets at the property, public safety, and campgrounds. There's no money for a county administrator, but we think we have $250,000 to spend on a Sally Port that we've done without for 50 years. I haven't found anybody besides the people in that meeting that think we need it. Not one person. The comment was made, people's lives are at stake. What if we arrest somebody's children and they accidentally get shot? I don't think that, the Sally part, if one of you guys shoots my kid, it's not going to be because of that. Also, I hope someone's going to pay for that proprietary information that management company said would make the county nursing home almost instantly profitable. That might be a good idea. At least you didn't make the worst decision by selling it outright. We saw like the abandoned ones and stuff. I told Cindy, you'd be lucky if that's what happened to you. Your county did the same thing, and they were going to do their due diligence in looking into their county nursing home being sold. And now it's a cult. It was bought by Chicago Title and Trust, and now it's the Love Holy Trinity Blessed Mission. They say they're a controversial religious group, but it's a cult, and that's what Bureau County is stuck with. Now, how do we get the county some more money for stuff? It's through property taxes, and we definitely need money for our schools, pensions, and all of that. And like my email with you, Julie, I said, put on my glasses. I have concerns about why, in my opinion, you have grossly undervalued certain properties. And I'm interested in finding out if it is intentional or you're bad at your job. So let's all decide. All right. I live in Lewiston. My property taxes are $2,005. My house is worth $85,300. I think it's a little high, but whatever. Our schools need some money. Let's go down to Lewistown. My dad lives there. He bought his house for $173,000. It's gone up pretty much every year. She's valuing it about $200,000, which is $53.76 in tax. And I was talking about why some of the neighbors, well, no, she wouldn't come talk to me, some of her minions, about why some of the neighbors are a lot less. Oh, well, yeah, maybe my dad needs to apply for some of these, that, whatever exemptions. No, that's for poor people. He might be 79 years old, but the people at Lewistown do not qualify for that. So the big one across the street, this dude pays $41.72 in taxes. Just sold his house for $450,000. My dad pays, what, over $5 for a $200,000 house. Now, yes, he's been improving on it. My dad's has gone up and up. He has had no structural improvements, although he keeps it pretty tight. The guy across the street, hella improvements. But in 2015, he bought that house for $235,000. It has never been taxed at $235,000. It's taxed at under $200,000. Oh, I don't have all the facts. He has a home improvement exemption of $650. We don't even tax him on those improvements. So yeah, $450,000 house since 2015. So what, we've been missing out on $5,000 a year? That's the way my man puts that. All right, what else we doing? There's another one, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car. These are all lakeside. My dad is not lakeside, and I heard someone else say location. So yeah, the people lakeside, boat houses, 4 buildings, $450,000 house, $4,000. We got another one, $3,700, $329,000 house, double up. Oh, the other dude across the street from my house. No homeowners exemption, no nothing, because why? It's his second home. He's really super rich, and his other house is in New York.
All right,
Triple
your
lot,
5 minutes is up. Thank you.
$4,000. Thanks, Julie.
Okay, moving on, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Moved by Murphy. Is there a second? Seconded by Sloan. Any discussion? All right, let's see. Roll call.
Heller,
Yes.
Coomer,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Sloan,
Yes.
Southwood,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Widger,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Barclay,
Yes.
Beck.
Yes.
And Barry.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Action agenda. Madam Treasurer, do you have a report for us?
Good evening, everyone. The microphone, right? Speak up. Okay, so starting off with property tax. Of the 53.4 million we are anticipating and collecting, little over 39 million has been collected and distributed. So that equates to about 73% of what we are anticipating has been collected and distributed. Quite a bit of money came in with second installment. There is about 2.8 million left to still collect. And if you would like to avoid the $10 certified mail fee, payment needs to be in my office by tomorrow. If you want to avoid being published in the paper, your payment needs to physically be in my office 4 p.m. on 9/28. The last day, if any of your constituents ask, the last day to pay property taxes is Thursday, October 26th. Tax sale is Friday, October 27th at 9 a.m. Any questions on property taxes? Okay, moving right along, 1.6 million and change cleared AP clearing for bills that we, or for checks that we issued, and almost 788,000 went through for payroll. Moving on to ARPA. Well, first, interest earned to date, $226,574.55. Remember, you allocated $25,000 for the anniversary. Side note, job well done to the committee. The bicentennial, our 200th birthday, was well done, and the fireworks were incredible. So I know that John and Laura will have a report next month to recap everything. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, but I will not steal their thunder on that. So right now you have a little over $201,000 in ARPA interest that hasn't been allocated. 1 or 2 projects are completed, so next month's report at this bottom part will be updated with more allocations at a time you will make using interest. Any questions on ARPA? Okay. Lastly, County Gen. So revenue totaled $1,109,147.19. Expenditures totaled $1,020,553.95. Gave us a small deficit of about $88,500. When you look at where we are with surplus on County Gen, I want to remind everyone there is still $815,000 sitting in county general funds that, according to the budget that was approved last year, to move into the capital improvement fund. So I have not moved all of that money, letting County Gen earn that interest. By the end of the year, because of what the budget is appropriated, I will be moving that $850,000. So not saying that County Gen looks bad, it looks really good. It's just, it's gonna take a beating when I move $815,000 out of it. So just letting you know that. Any questions? Thoughts, concerns? If any of your constituents are asking about property taxes, please have them call my office. Time Clock Plus training starts next week. Accrual programming for all of the benefit time has started in my office. Thank you very much for Board Member Thompson on the guiding on some of that, because without boring you with the details, we just have a lot going on with that. And lastly, I'm going to echo your sentiment and thanking Julie, but mine's going to be with a different context, and thanking her for her commitment to the county and the work that is done. I understand some people get frustrated. I understand processes. I understand what we are elected to do may not always be warm, fuzzy, and fun. But I'm here to defend all of my colleagues for their commitment to the county, what they were appointed or elected to do, and the job that is done. So again, thank you. Come on, Tom.
Thank you. All right. Community development, zoning and 200th anniversary. Laura's not feeling well, so she is not with us. But if you happen to see her sometime in the near future, you really ought to pat her on the back and thank her for all the work that she put in for our 200th anniversary. It went really well, and she put in a ton of work. So she'll have a full report at the next meeting about that. County Highway, Member Heller, do you have a report for us?
Just a quick report. County Highway 2 bridge. I have some good news. We'll start with the headline. It will be open by the Spring River Drive. We are waiting on a little bit of asphalt work yet and guardrail to have it completed. Then tomorrow, another headline is we will have the bid opening for the building at the Highway Department at 2 p.m. That's it.
Okay. Health. Are you taking that, Lisa?
Oh, yeah, I am.
Okay.
Okay, I'm next, I'll just come up there. So, Health Committee, Clayburgh, has some employees that are not getting to use their vacation due to staffing shortages. So they requested that we could pay out vacation time that is going to expire so that we keep them from losing it. So I will make a motion to approve vacation payout to avoid employees from losing vacation.
Moved by Thompson, is there a second? Second by Widger. Discussion. This is, if they can accumulate it for 2 years, then after 2 years, they start to lose it. So,
That's why the union contract. Right. Is that in the union contract written?
it is, yes. And so a lot of these people put in a lot of extra time, and through some bad times here, and we want to make sure that they get rewarded for that, not just lose their time that they've earned. So this would not be anything like for just this past year. It's stuff that they've accumulated 2 years ago that they have not used. So
They do this every 2 years.
Approximately how much is it going to be?
I think we calculated, somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,600.
it's just a couple people. Carl?
Did you give the option to let them carry extra over or just go ahead and pay them? Some people talk about. Can't carry because of the contract.
Any other questions? All right, roll call.
Coomer,
Yes.
Murphy,
No?
Sloan,
Yes.
Southwood,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Widger,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Barkley,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Barry,
No.
Heller.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. That's it for health. Finance.
Alright, first item up is RFP for auditor. We put out an RFP, we had one response. And it was Gray Hunter Sten, and we've used them in the past, and I will make a motion to approve Gray Hunter Sten as our auditor for the next 3 years.
Moved by Thompson, second by Beck. Any discussion? How many years have we used them?
Have to ask Stacy.
I would say eight
Yeah.
or nine.
Yeah, we switched from Clifton, Gunderson, Allen in 2015.
8 years. So another 3. And ideally, we would like to have fresh set of eyes at least every decade, but they were the only ones that submitted a bid. And we did the right bid process, and I also emailed auditing firms our RFP. It's just really, really, really difficult to get auditing done right now.
Any other questions, comments, thoughts? All right, roll call.
Murphy,
Yes.
Sloan,
Yes.
Southwood,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Widger,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Barkley,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Heller,
Yes.
Coomer.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next thing we have is election judge pay increase.
Yes. Our election authority, Mr. O'Brien, brought to committee resolution setting an increase for the election judges after a study was done on what other counties pay. The resolution memorializes what is being paid and makes for a fair pay for the election judge. So I will make a motion. I will move to approve the resolution for the election judge.
Moved by Thompson, seconded by Murphy.
Is the
Discussion.
Is the 145 what it is now, or what it's going up to?
I can read the resolution. you want me to?
You go ahead and do that.
That's to answer your question, that's right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, then read it.
Whereas pursuant to 10 ILCS 5/13-10, the compensation of the judges of election of all primaries and all elections, except judges supervising vote by mail ballots as provided in section 19-12.2 of this act, and counties of less than 600,000 inhabitants shall be fixed by the respective county boards or boards of election commissioners in all counties. Whereas beginning on the effective date of 7/1/23, the changes made to this section by this amendatory act, Public Act 103-8 of the 103rd General Assembly, the portion of an election judge's daily compensation reimbursement by the State Board of Elections is increased by an additional $20. The increase provided by this amendatory act of the 103rd General Assembly must be used to increase each judge's compensation and may not be used by the election authority or election jurisdiction to reduce its portion of a judge's compensation. Whereas the current base rate of election judges in the county of Fulton is $145 and $165 for those that attend the election judge training school provided by the election authority, as well as the mileage reimbursement set by the Internal Revenue Service annually for those that return election materials in their personal vehicle. Whereas it is the recommendation of the Finance Committee that the base rate for all judges of the election of all elections in the county of Fulton be $200, with an additional $20 for those that attend the election judge training school provided by the election authority. Whereas there will be an additional mileage reimbursement set by the Internal Revenue Service annually for those judges of election who, in person, in their own vehicle, return polling place materials and ballots to the election authority after the several polling places close on election night. Now therefore be it resolved by the Fulton County Board that they accept the above recommendations of the Finance Committee as to the fixing of compensation of the judges of election for the county of Fulton.
Okay,
So
thank you.
the state's putting in 20, we're putting in 30.
20 more.
20 more.
Right now they put in 35. So they're putting in 20 more.
And we'll put in 35 more. to make it
Essentially, yes. And we aren't subsidizing it with that. We are actually increasing it. Because I brought this to Chairperson Thompson a couple months ago and said, listen, Lisa, I'm going to present you something, but if I present it to you now, neither one of us are going to be able to explain it, explain what we pay our judges right now. So we, all that's in your packet of how we pay now. It's not streamlined. It's not memorialized. This cleans everything up. It makes it transparent. It means, that the next county clerk, this is what they're going to pay the judges unless the next county board decides to pay them different. And right now we don't have that.
Okay, any other questions? Thoughts, comments? All right, roll call.
Did you second that, Joe?
Yes.
Sloan,
Yes.
Southwood,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Widger,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Barclay,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Heller,
Yes.
Coomer,
Yes.
Murphy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right.
I'm not done, sorry.
What else you got?
I have a finance report tonight.
Okay.
Okay, so, next month, we will be bringing the 2024, budget to you for public display. So I wanted to give you an update, on our finances tonight. And I want to start with historical information because it's important. In fiscal year 2017 to 2020, the general fund reserves lost nearly $1 million. $939,000. During these years, we simply didn't have money for needed repairs or capital improvements. At the end of 2020, we had less than 2.5 months operating expenses in reserves. Going broke was a real concern. So to those who ask, how did we get to the place that we needed a new highway building instead of repairing the one we had? This is one of the reasons. The highway finances followed along the same pattern. In fiscal year 21, our largest revenue, our personal property tax replacement tax, known as PPRT, increased by 68%. The American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA for short, also invested $3.37 million in our local economy and continues to fund needed projects for the county. In 2022, PPRT again increased. Actually, it doubled. We received our second tranche of ARPA, $3.35 million, and county reserves increased to 6 months operating expenses. That's a big. For this fiscal year ending in November, PPRT projections are expected to increase again by about 6%. And for the first time in many years, 2023 general fund budget included funds for capital improvements. We also appropriated contingency funds for the unexpected so that we are not drawing from reserves for budget overruns. The intention is to protect the reserves for emergencies. For this fiscal year, the budget is in good shape as we finish the third quarter. Revenues are 5% above budget, and expenses are 10% below budget. The last quarter is when we start seeing the overrun in the line items, and department heads are encouraged to review their budgets and make corrections to the overruns as soon as possible in this quarter. That brings us up to next year's budget. Finances are currently stable thanks to PPRT and ARPA money. However, in 2024, we will return to a financial reality that looks more like pre-pandemic numbers. Our PPRT is expected to decrease by about 40%. That is $2 million, according to the state estimates. Our greatest assets and our costs are our employees. The employees' salaries and their benefits have accounted for about 69% of the general fund budget over the years. As everyone is aware, salary increases will be determined by the outcome of negotiations. So settling contracts is important to all of us. The first week of October, we will receive health insurance quotes. We currently have money allocated for contingency and $1 million for capital improvements. We have many years of catch-up to do on capital improvements. For instance, Courthouse life safety study estimated $15 million needed in improvements and repairs to the courthouse. That was the cheap option. We have to find a way to fund capital improvements yearly and develop a long-term plan for our courthouse. We have reason to be hopeful, thanks to pending solar projects, grants, the hard work of our employees, department heads, elected officials, and everyone that works together to make improvements for our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, that's a lot of reality right there. Those of us who have been on the board and lived through those bleak times know that we do not want to go back to that. It would be tough. So thank you for that report. Property courts, public safety, campground. Dr. Williams.
Let's start with the courthouse and some improvements and updates here. Spoke with Stacy the other day and spoke with Bill Smith. Spoon River Mechanical is going to come in and try to figure out a hot water system for the bathrooms. No promises on it. They're going to look at it. So then Stacy says it's about her problem in her office, we'll get that taken a look at, so we can get it straightened out. Let's move over to the salary board. Available. People want to make a comment that my kids get shot. Talk to somebody that's working in law enforcement. Talk to Mr. Wizard. Talk to me. Talk to the sheriff.
I have family that works in law enforcement.
Okay, just let me say this. If you want to make your decision, you can run for county board anytime. But let's get off that. That's what I'm here about.
It's my opinion.
We're going to move forward with the solid board. I spoke with Justin today. We cannot use Sourcewell apparently because we still have to put out and have an architect prior to them doing their stuff. So that's something that's been needed since the jail was built. But back in those thin times, there was no money for it. We made do with what we had. Now we don't have to make do with that. So I don't think there's maybe one other or two other jails in the state that doesn't have a salary for somebody. So, and like I said, my committee voted on moving forward with that. I think that's what we need to do. So at some point, I'm going to call tomorrow, try to get an architect or who people that came down and give us an original estimate on that, see who they recommend. They wouldn't build just what we needed. They took the time for us to explain it to them, what we thought needed to be done and do it right. It's not going to be cheap. It's going to be probably $200,000 by the time we pay an architect or anything like that. So I hope that we can move forward and get that done. This is the last opportunity, I'd say, to get a chance to do that. So, and like I said, anybody wants to talk about it on the board or whatever, we can meet over there and we'll do it again and let the sheriff or the previous sheriff tell you about why it was needed. So when Dan Daly was the sheriff, when Walt was the sheriff, we wish we would have the money to build that and put a solid board on it. That's what's with it. The county just didn't have it. So anyway, enough with that. Moving on, the board office, whole house, gave us an estimate on doing the roof over there to get it straightened out. That included the guttering, tear off and everything. It was $22,000 and some odd amount. So the board approved to pay that and move forward with that. It was under the 30, so we didn't have to bid it, and they were the only ones that was interested in that. So, now let's move to the campground. John's last day is October 1st. We've yet to be out there. We don't want to have it as a scheduled meeting, so at some point this next week, I'm going to go out there and put somebody over with me. Kind of look at things. We have a copy of the equipment from the auditors. They should be present. We want to take a look at it and stuff like that. With my committee last week, we talked about dividing this up. Have a campground host. It's too much work for what we've had in the past for someone to be the campground host, do all the mowing, and do everything that. So to alleviate some of the county's liability and expenses, I think that we would be better off just to hire a campground host that takes care of the campers. Mainly their thing would be wash out the bathrooms and the shower house. That would be their labor out there. Contract out, have somebody mow it. They furnish their own equipment. We alleviate owning a tractor and all the equipment out there. We don't have the repair costs and everything like that. We don't have to pay, IMRF and everything like that. So, what's everybody's general feeling on that? I mean, I thought the committee kind of liked that idea. We take bids for the mowing, and whoever, gets a bid, they take care of it. It's their equipment. They're responsible for their own upkeep. So, but we have to get a plan together to decide this is what needs done if you're going to be the maintenance out there. Had several campers in the last meeting say that they knew people would be interested in being the host. Had a couple phone calls, actually one yesterday, of someone would be interested. So we need to get that job description, revamp it a little bit. But I just don't see us hiring someone during this camping season. There's just no way. So ideally, if we could get somebody to maintenance part. The guys at Mow MSD told me that they come up through there with a bush hog tractor and mow some of it that wasn't taken care of before, and it was too steep or too rough. So, and they're mowing stuff along some of the roads apparently. Because they have the gates and they mow, or the keys to the gates they mow out there in MSD. So they're a contract with MSD that does the mowing for them. So they may be interested in that. I mean, it's just, it might be easy for them to open a gate But the problem with that is they have a rough cut mower. The mower that's been used out there, was supposed to be used out there, is a 12-foot finish mower. My understanding is the previous employee didn't use that. He tried to mow all that with a 0-turn 5-foot deck mower. So he spent all his time mowing. I think that was the problem. So I thought that if we could sell that equipment, you seal bids as excess property or surplus property, but probably keep at least one mower. If campground just had an empty spot where no one was living there or whatever, they can run out there with a 0-turn and do that. The majority is to take care of the campers. So be social with them, be friendly with them, do the contracts. They still live in the house. Hopefully more of a stipend than a salary to take care of that. Yes, sir.
So I think I heard you say that you think we would have that position filled this year? Or is it, what would happen to the campground?
As the host, what closes, I don't know. I don't know how we're going to get filled by the end of the camping season out there. So,
So you would just close it with through?
see, I don't know. Not sure.
I thought the people were out there who
Yes.
Just the day
campers after a certain date, no gate pass, you can't buy day to get in. There's no day camping or night camping. Just scheduled campers. So,
No one's denying.
I think it's a conflict of interest myself.
What?
Out there, we're going to hire somebody out there. Because you don't know what that person's going to say. Can we have a beer party here tonight or whatever it is? Who's in charge?
conflict of interest.
Yeah, I'm really confused. I really don't know what you mean.
Oh, you mean as a camper, there's a camper out there, one of the positions?
Camper is a whole.
Well, they can apply, we can't separate them because they enjoy camping out there. They can apply like anybody else, and we're having an interview on it.
I was very encouraged at the campground meeting by the excitement among the campers of our proposal and the changes and them wanting to be involved. And then people take ownership in that out there too.
Exactly. Take a lot of pride in it, some of them.
They do. And I think this is gonna be a really good change for the future.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's going to cover cable and paying bills? Would the host be doing that?
Yes.
I would think so, I mean,
Okay, what about right now?
well, anybody want to volunteer and step up there?
I would have
You might
not
wanna-
a job, not a two other jobs.
Not it.
Oh, one more won't matter, will it?
You might want to speak with Mr. Jokums about the tenets of the lease with MSD. And just see if not having somebody out there would violate that lease.
It says someone has to be on the grounds present. I read the lease over, talked to just a little bit about it. But I think that I don't think they're gonna slam the door on us if it's 30 days before we can get somebody hired. So, or whatever. Now, yeah, 6 months down the road, it's camping season, we'd have problems. I hope. And ideally, I'd like to have either Justin or John or somebody meet with people from MSD, not the employee out there. I think that kind of got us in a circle sometimes. John spoke, if we didn't know. So,
Yeah.
Just something to think about, Carl, and the board. When we switched before from the past superintendent to the present one, just resigned, we did have a couple board members fill in out there after the time it expired for the remainder of the year, just to do drive-throughs and check things out and make sure everything was running okay on a 30-day basis. Then to answer the questions in regards to the bills from this point on till the end of the year, I think the committee's going to get most of the bills anyway.
It really does, but preparing, putting a codes on them. preparing them to be sent to AP, putting the codes on.
Right. Right.
That's, you guys get them when they're already done.
Right.
When that part's already done. That's, someone needs to be doing that.
Just don't cover your eyes.
Right.
No
Right.
blinders in here. So.
Dan, you looking for another job? You live close by there.
Pardon me?
Well, to bring that, I'm gonna ask John Sheriff if he would have a squad car go out there once or twice a week. Just drive through to make an appearance. So, and I don't think there's problems like that out there, but especially with into the camping season, the day campers or the temporary campers, I would suspect we'd have a problem with the campers out there. So if they're not out there, going, come and go, it still wouldn't hurt for when the sheriff's department's working.
Right now, I think it's just full of electric people that are out there daily, and it's very few of them. I went through there the other day, just took a little drive through, there hardly anybody out there.
A couple of the campers I spoke to, pretty responsible, older people, they would keep an eye out. And I said, hey, if somebody calls and asks for my phone number, give them my phone number. I don't have nothing to hide. I'll talk to anybody on the phone or in person. Probably won't talk to you if you email me. So maybe text you. I don't. So it's just how I am. I wanted to do business in person, so I'm behind the times about 20 years. Yes. So yeah, I am. Anyway,
Okay.
I think this is going to be better. Just one thing I want to suggest: we're not going to have a superintendent. We're going to have a host. It's going to be friendly towards the campers. We're going to associate, visit with campers and stuff like that. That's what we lacked out there. You know, we never heard about it until all this come about. I mean, I had 3 people stop me on one side yesterday and talk to me about it. And just said, hey, we need somebody to work. And somebody maybe with an outdoor background or enjoys hunting, fishing or whatever. And no, I'm not interested in the job. That rumor got spread around that I wanted the job out there. There ain't nothing in the way. So, anyway. Yeah. I would go help. I would maybe take my equipment out there if we needed something, but no. So, anybody have any questions?
I just got a couple comments from a few of the campers that's called me since all this has come up. And there are questions we need to discuss in a meeting, which we will in time, is some of the amenities that they used to have that they don't have, like vending machines, soda machines, ice, propane, some of that they did away with. And I mean, I could tell you at least 5 of them I talked to said they either got to go to St. David or they got to go to Lewistown or Canton to get ice.
The only problem I see with that is, I don't know if there's enough business for an ice company to come out there and fill the freezer and stuff like that all the time.
Well, we had it before, they sold a lot of ice, but.
Times are different though. I mean, getting anybody to work here, you know how that is.
Well, yeah, I know.
You know?
I'm just
And
saying.
if they're not gonna generate enough money to make it worth their time or have an employee to do it, I don't know. I mean, if we look at having a concession stand out there, well, then we got more business. I know it'd be nice, but I just don't know how we can. If we can get a vendor, I'm all for it, but they take care of it. Our campground host doesn't stock the ice machine or make ice. So,
Well, I mean, the ice company would stock the
correct, if
machine.
we can find somebody to do that.
And,
Yeah.
you know, it'd be logical for the campground committee or the campground to buy a machine instead of contract one.
An ice machine to make ice?
No, soda machine, vending machine.
Oh, okay.
And all that money would go straight back into the campground. It wouldn't be parted out 2 or 3 different ways.
That'd be something I guess we could talk about.
Yeah, that's stuff that
maybe
we need to
spring.
discuss. It's not life or death right now, but definitely probably before the start of the new camping season.
Okay, anything else?
Jim? Sure. That's you.
We'll talk about that.
Anybody has any other questions? I think that's all I have.
I got one thing regarding property. I applied for a ADA grant through the State Board of Elections to fix, I know it doesn't look like it needs fixed, but the west sidewalk that we use as our main sidewalk entrance, to get that up to ADA code, to get a new door on our west entrance with the push button to make it ADA compliant. And that grant was approved. So it's about $127,000 project. So that will be coming soon too. That'll be a brand new door, new key fob, brand new sidewalk. We got permission from the city.
Was it the city?
Of course, the city didn't say, no, don't give us
You're gonna pay for it, you can do it.
don't give us a brand new free sidewalk. We hate to have that. But no, they supported it. And then the grant also got $48,000 to resurface the parking lot at Orion Township. Orion Townships are one of our largest top two voting precincts in the county, and they recently had a fire for one, and for two, we had complaints because the population of Orion Township is starting to age, and there's some people that couldn't maneuver around on the gravel out there, so they refused to vote by mail. And they refused, so they just said they weren't going to vote if they couldn't get that fixed. So that grant was approved.
Okay,
And it's a reimbursable grant, so I need some money appropriated here. So, thank you very much.
And reimburse next year. Yeah, you'll spend it this year and reimburse it next year.
Yes.
Awesome. I love this.
Thank you.
all right, anything else? Property. Okay. That's it for the action agenda. We don't have any need for an executive session. There's nothing on miscellaneous. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Coomer. For a second. Second by Thompson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Be sure and wish Cindy well before you leave.
Thank you,
Last
Cindy.
day is Thursday. We wish her the best in all her future endeavors. Justin.
It's school money, you should.
Polling place accessibility.
By the way, I'm gonna do it quickly. Yeah, at the end, after they know we're getting there, and then.
Yes.
What's that?
I was gonna send out a press release.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we need to. I'll try and
Yeah, let me
I didn't know how to do that.
I'll find out. I'll cut it.
Yeah, I do too.
Baseball, so